Landon's story. Landon, after these 3 rounds, what has been your most noteworthy battle so far?
Most noteworthy, I gotta say the Incineroar versus Incineroar.
I would agree with that.
I have to say the Incineroar versus, but like that was just so quick. But it was pretty good match.
And honestly, I mean, the fact that we had 2 Incineroars, I actually wondered, do you think Incineroar is the most used Pokemon at this local?
I mean, let's take a look at the usage if we're like gonna think about this.
I'm honestly curious. I would think Incineroar is probably going to be at least in the top 3.
Oh yeah, for sure.
But it just remains to be seen if it's number 1 because we never know yet. And we do see.
It's tied for top 1.
It's actually tied. We have a 3-way tie.
We have a 3-way tie for the number 1 spot. So Chien-Pao, Incineroar, Ogerpon, Wellspring. We've seen all of them several times today.
We have. We've seen the Tornado
mirrors between them.
We've seen the Urshifu Rapid Strike. We just saw Namungas piloted by Patrick Connors alongside of Farigarath. We've seen Entei. We've seen every Pokemon on our top 12 usage rate. That is crazy.
Honestly, you know what's crazy to me? That Fluttermane isn't higher.
It is sad that Fluttermane is just falling and
falling
falling and
a bit,
falling
yeah.
and falling and
I
falling.
think it's only going to fall farther in Reg G. I don't think it's going to be bad at all.
It's definitely not going to be bad.
Definitely not. But it is going to drop a bit. I think.
At least in single restricted. In double restricted, sure. It might pop up.
Might get some usage again for sure.
Yeah, because I mean everybody's darling child right now is the Calyrex Shadow Rider. So drop the Fluttermane, but you pop a Fluttermane next to a Sun user, and suddenly the Fluttermane is faster, and bing bang boom, goodbye Shadow Rider Calyrex, unless the Calyrex terrestrializes. But honestly, I mean, outside of these top 12 Pokemon here, we see Rapid Strike Urshifu. We've seen a single strike on stream, and it's not even in the top 12.
That's true. I mean, single strike has been on the come up in recent events, but it's a weird Pokemon. Single strike goes up and goes down, goes up, and it's just like a weird fluctuating Pokemon. I've even seen some fluctuation with Chien-Pao, honestly, but Chien-Pao has gone right back to the top where it should be.
Exactly, and we look at it. We have 3 physical attackers, then a special attacker, then a physical attacker, then support, then special, physical, support. Yeah, so quite literally, you have.
I would argue, I'd say Tornadus is a bit of support too.
I would, a little bit, but it has more of the.
For sure, I get what you're saying.
Yeah, because you don't really see a physical Tornadus being used.
Oh, not at all.
Although it actually would be something to experiment with. Maybe like a.
I saw. Okay, you know how GC teams are weird. I saw a Defiant, Tornadus.
Terraflying Acrobatics?
Terraflying Acrobatics. With
Ooh.
Grassy Seed.
Ooh, that's really interesting to note here. But ladies and gentlemen, we are about to get into round number 4 here at the Maitland local here. And we've got 2 really good trainers here. And we just talked about our usage rate. We've got 6 of the Pokemon on that usage rate on this matchup of the 12 Pokemon, and then the other 6 aren't even in the top.
I don't. Yeah, we have 5 on one team. Landon Morjal's team. He has 5 of the 6, and then Eric Castillo only has 1 of the 6 on his team. He's definitely running an interesting team.
Both of these guys are running very interesting teams.
Of course.
We are going to start off talking about this matchup. We're going to look at Landon Morjal's team because, as we did say, he's got the majority of our top 12 usage rate here, and it's a very unique set, but also very standard. You got the Landorus Incarnate, Sheer Force Life Orb, standard move set, Sludge Bomb, Earth Power, Substitute Protect. Some usually will drop Substitute for Sandsear Storm if you're feeling risky, if you're feeling lucky, but he's also got the Ogerpon Wellspring, Ivy Cudgel, Follow Me, Hornleech, Spiky Shield. Not bad. Incineroar, the Ghost Terra with the safety goggles, Flare Blitz, Parting Shot, Knockoff, Fake Out. All right, that's good.
Pretty standard stuff.
Choice Specs Fluttermane. We saw how good Choice Specs Fluttermane can be.
It's good for a reason.
Terra Steel Tornadus with the Covert Cloak, but the Archaludon. That's first time seeing Archaludon today.
I mean, it's a good Pokemon. Look at it. It's like the Electro Shot is going to work so well with the Rain Dance because it's going to get that special attack boost immediately.
And just click the move. And
It just gets the move going. And then, Body Press. This one has Body Press on it to help with those stamina boosts. And opting for the Dragon Pulse over the Draco Meteor for potential less misses.
Exactly. But now we're going to get into Eric Castillo's team, ladies and gentlemen. And
Look at
the
this.
uniqueness of this team. Now, outside of our Trick Room, it is unique. We have a Glastrier, we have an Amoonguss, we have an Iron Hands, we have a Torkoal, we have an Ursaluna, the regular Ursaluna, and we have an Oranguru.
I just want to point out some certain things. Okay, even when I see Oranguru, Mental Orb makes sense. Okay, that makes sense. That's fine. I can agree with that. Ursaluna, Flame Orb, that makes sense. That's fine. I can agree with that. Iron Hands, Terra Water, great. Well, it's holding a booster energy. The Iron Hands. It's holding a booster energy because you know where that Assault Vest is? On the Glacier.
That is crazy to think about.
Like-
and the Torkoal, the Terrafire, Charcoal, Eruption. You just click Eruption and full health in Trick Room. We've seen that.
You know how much damage that's going to do.
Oh yeah, especially with the Terrafire, the Sun, the full health from Eruption, the Instruct. You are guaranteed 2 KOs.
The Charcoal, it's going to do so much damage. This is a hard Trick Room team. And a hard Trick Room team to fight, I would say.
And because of that Mental Herb, it can't be taunted. But on the side of Landon, he doesn't have a single taunting Pokemon.
Yeah, so it's not really going to affect Landon in any way here. But I believe we're about to get into our Game 1.
And one of these trainers is guaranteed going to be going to 3-1 and moving one step closer to that top cut. Who is it going to be? Is it going to be Eric Castillo? Is it going to be Landon Morsel? Game number 1 is underway. And we see Landon go with the double Genies and Eric leading with the Torkoal and the Oranguru.
Yep, like we were talking about that, the threat of that Oranguru with the potential Trick Rooms, but I'm surprised this Landorus doesn't have Sandsear Storm, seeing as there's a Rain Dance opportunity on Landon's side. If I can be honest.
No, you make a very valid point there, Landon, because when we look at Landon's team and we look at Eric's team, it looks really good that Sandsear Storm will do massive damage on Eric's team. But however, that Oranguru is the wild card here with that Trick Room.
It's going to be definitely an interesting match. We see Eric running out of time. Ooh.
Oh, and I think he might have timed out, and we do see a Rain
timed
Dance
out.
come out on the Tornadus. So Tornadus gets the Rain Dance off, and Landon is going for the substitute.
Getting that substitute early on is going to be pretty helpful for that Landorus. That Eruption gonna do a good amount because of
I mean, that was good damage into the Tornadus even through the rain, and
the substitute did fade.
And the Oranguru, what did it go for? It ended up clicking the Trick Room.
The Trick Room,
But
wow.
now, however, we have to keep in mind here, Landon, Eric's Oranguru is holding Encore. It is now, it can potentially go for something like an Encore into that Landorus, and it will lock itself into substitute.
That very well could be a problem for that Landorus. And it could also do the same thing to the Tornadus. It could be a problem for either of these Pokemon.
You're definitely right there. And I mean, even with the Glastrier, I mean, you said it with the Assault Vest on Glastrier. I mean, Landorus's moves hit very hard, but it still doesn't want to take any hits from a Glastrier.
Oh, absolutely not. And even though Eric had a turn where he had to have an unfortunate locked in by itself, like the move was locked in without him even getting to choose, Eric was completely fine with that turn.
And we see Landon switch out the Tornadus here into Morgana, and that is the Incineroar to get that Intimidate
I'm
off.
noticing a bit of a naming theme from Landon's side.
I'm guessing it's from something that I'm missing, but we do see the Encore was clicked into the Tornadus
It
line, and it
was.
fails, and the Earth Power comes out of your Sheer Force Life Orb Earth Power, and it bounces off of Glastrier.
Gosh, that Assault Vest, you know how good the Assault Vest is. It's just such a solid item to have on a Pokemon. And so we see Eric contemplating a move.
But see, here's the interesting point. by virtue of the Glastrier having that Assault Vest, it can only have 4 attacking moves.
Yep.
Incineroar is carrying Fake Out on Landon's side. He can just go for a Fake Out pretty freely into that Glastrier, and Glastrier will not be able to attack on this turn.
Yep, that is very true. And honestly, it's not the worst position for Orlando right now, even though he is under Trick Room, which, you know, is often super unfortunate. But
Lander is going for the Protect here to potentially scout out any move, and Incineroar, it did not go for Fake Out. It went for Icicle Crash on the Glastrier, but it is protected by the Landorus, and Oranguru going for the Psychic into the Landorus as well.
That is...
And Incineroar going for the Parting Shot.
That's very good.
That is a really good play by Landon, making sure that Glastrier is now -2 on its physical attack stat. And Glastrier, as we know, with that Chilling Nade ability, if it gets a KO, it gets a physical attack boost.
Yeah, and that'll be very devastating for Landon to deal with in the end.
And now at -1, or not -1, -2 on its attack stat, I'm not even sure a Icicle Crash can knock out the Landorus at 4 times super effective. It might be close.
I mean, I think it still potentially has a shot, honestly. I mean, like, it's just 4 times super effective. That's a lot of multiplication. I'm no mathematician, but
there is a but there. There is
there's
definitely
big numbers.
Yep, but we honestly, Landon is piloting around this Trick Room flawlessly.
Oh, amazingly! It's genuinely impressive the way he's doing this.
And we see Naoto come out, and that is the Ogerpon Wellspring as Tornadus going for a Protector, potentially scouting a Icicle Crash into that slot.
Yeah, this seems to be a Persona character naming theme with all the Pokemon names.
And Oranguru going for the Encore once again and failing once again.
Perfectly every single time.
And this is the last turn of Trick Room for
Can I just say, Landon has stalled this out perfectly.
Exactly. Like, he has played into Eric's Trick Room absolutely insanely well.
Yeah, it's like...
So now it remains to be seen, what is Eric going to do here? Because Trick Room is about to go up, and again, Tornadus might be able to live a hit here. We see a Terra Orb activated on the side of Landon. His Ogerpon is being cast in the Terastallization Light. The Wellspring Mass has activated, and Ogerpon Wellspring has now become pure Water type, which is now resisting those Icicle Crashes. And it goes for the Follow Me into redirection as the Icicle Crash comes out -2 through the resist, and it does nothing.
Nothing. Tickles.
And
honestly.
we see Instruct come out.
Since it's a Follow Me, Instruct just comes out onto the Ogerpon and does the exact same thing. It just waves its little finger around and says, hey,
and we see the Bleakwind Storm guaranteed hits, and it does good damage into the Glastrier and that Oranguru, but the double speed drop is still now. Again, Glastrier and Oranguru, 2 are the slowest Pokemon in the format, but that's what Trick Room is all about.
That is what Trick Room is all about. The slower you are, the better. And honestly, I think it's just a super solid position. If he goes for a Rain Dance and an Ivy Cudgel onto that Oranguru, even with a switch into a Torkoal, that's just a super solid spot for him to be in.
I think you're right here, because by going for that Torkoal here, he is activating the Drought and putting those Sunlight
But
out.
the Rain Dance overwrites it, and so the Ivy Cudgel, how much damage could this do?
As the Ivy Cudgel is activated by the Wellspring Mask, it goes into the Oranguru, actually.
And that is enough. Wow.
That is big damage.
Completely taking out the Trick Room opportunities and for Eric. And honestly, I think Landon is just in such a good position.
Landon is in a commanding position right now. Being able to take...
This makes me proud to be a fellow Landon. I'm just saying.
I was waiting for you to make a reference about that. I was waiting for a reference there. However, Eric does still have that Glastrier now. Now, this is where something like a Clear Amulet would come into play, as we've been seeing for early Regulation G with the Calyrex Ice Rider. Being able to handle those attack drops from something like an Intimidate here, like we're going to see, the Intimidate is coming out from this Incineroar, which has just switched out. But it remains to be seen what's going to happen here, because Torkoal and Glastrier are going to be the slowest Pokemon on the field. But Ogerpon has an Ivy Cudgel.
Ogerpon does have an Ivy Cudgel. And honestly, Ivy Cudgel, it's just so good. It's such a good move because it does so much damage. And let's see if Landon makes this read with Horn Leech or whatever it has. Ivy Cudgel
goes Ivy Cudgel into
I still imagine it doing a lot of damage regardless. Wow.
Almost knocked it out.
Wow.
The Icicle Crash coming out. This is resisted, and it does nothing on Incineroar.
Landon is playing a phenomenal game right now. I honestly, don't know how Eric's going to pull out this game one if he has a chance. And, the beginning, Eric had such a nice lead with getting the Trick Room off perfectly.
He played it phenomenally to get that
fantastic.
off. And even Landon getting that substitute out, but Eric just went straight for the raw Eruption and Trick Room. He didn't even risk using a different move.
Remember, that was actually locked in by the game timing out.
Good point. The game did time out. But we do see a fake out come out into the Glastrier. Glastrier will go down to that fake out. The Terastallization is gone on Eric's side. And we do see Ivy Cudgel coming out on the Ogerpon slot here. This Torkoal, we've seen a different turtle be a problem, but that turtle is not, because unfortunately the bonk has happened.
The bonk has happened. And
all that is left is Ursaluna in the back for Eric Castillo here. That is, honestly, Landon played game one absolutely perfect here.
He truly did. I honestly don't think there was a better way that Landon could have played that game. This Ivy Cudgel, I imagine it's a one-hit KO with the Terra boost and the Rain Dance boost. It's just, there we go.
It's a one-hit knockout, and Ursaluna faints, and Landon Morsel with a 4-0 in game number one of this matchup.
Wow.
Just absolutely incredible how he played that Trick Room. He let the Trick Room go up, and he still managed to not only weather the Trick Room, he won the Weather War, and he showed by virtue of his ability to win that game.
He played the game phenomenally, and it's just it really goes to show how even if, looking at his team, you'd imagine, oh man, if this opponent gets up Trick Room, that could be a huge problem. Wasn't for him. Not at all.
It definitely wasn't. But now we are going to get into game two, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to let our opponent or our players pick their teams right now, just so that way they can understand, what might be the best course of action to work around each side's matches. Because right now Landon's in just winning any battle puts you in an advantage in the set. But winning a battle the way that Landon did, winning 4-0.
4-0? Played that game phenomenally.
You have essentially put your foot on the gas. You cannot take it off.
Exactly, and it's just that was a phenomenal play from Landon. Truly, I can't say it enough. I really can't.
It's not trying to show favoritism here, ladies and gentlemen. That is, any person who has played VGC will attest. You do something like that, you are in that commanding position. But we're going to get into game number two here as Landon once again leads the double genies, but Eric making a little bit of a switch up here, bringing the
potentially
Amoonguss.
Trying to guarantee bringing up his Trick Room with a Rage Powder and a Trick Room, just like we saw with Patrick Connors just last game.
You're definitely right there, because the Landorus and the Tornadus on Landon's side both have Protect, so they could potentially avoid a Spore per se, but that will not prevent the Oranguru from getting that Trick Room up.
That won't prevent it at all. And so now we just got to think, what are both of these players going to do in this situation?
Honestly, I'm not 100% sure, because both sides, they don't want to give any inch. But we do see Landorus going for that substitute play once again, but Tornadus opting to go for Bleak Wind Storm. It hits both opponents, doing good damage on the Amoonguss and the Oranguru, and dropping Oranguru's speed.
Dropping both of their speed. That's honestly pretty unfortunate for Landon in this situation.
But we see a Spore come out on the side of Amoonguss, and Tornadus is taking a little bit of a nap, but that might actually play out excellent for Eric because now Tornadus has to take a turn of sleep.
That is true.
And if Eric brought Torkoal in the back, Tornadus cannot get that Rain Dance up.
Yeah, at least not immediately. It's like not in the best situation to start it off. Honestly, this is a better start for Eric in this situation. It's just he's not really setting off too much offensive pressure right now. So that might be a struggle for him in the current moment.
I think you're definitely right there because Eric now has that Trick Room set up. He is essentially guaranteed that it is now his battlefield, his setup, his Pokemon will be going first. Just a matter of what moves get clicked.
Exactly.
We do see a switch out here. Amoonguss is switching out, which will heal up its health a little bit with that Regenerator ability.
Yep.
And in comes that Torkoal once again. The sun is activated.
The sun is up.
It just feels like they really are in Florida. Well, like we really are in Florida because the sun is beating down. Those rays are just too hot.
Oh, absolutely.
And we do see a
now
substitute
the Landorus substitute is gone.
Tornadus is slower than the Landorus in Trick Room. What did Landorus go for? Went for Earth Power into the Oranguru, and it's not enough.
Wow.
It comes down to these sleep turns, ladies and gentlemen, because if Tornadus wakes up here, it could go for a Rain Dance.
Exactly, and honestly, that would be super good for this situation because Rain Dance is going to, it's going to take out the sun, and it's going to make the eruptions even weaker than they were before. And we saw Eric lock into that Terra Fire.
We did. The Torkoal is just getting
he's
a little
committed.
He's getting a little bit hotter. He's getting a little bit. He's trying to up the heat in this battle, and Torkoal is the perfect Pokemon to do it by terrassalizing into a Fire Terra. Does the Chandelier help it with the eruption, but does Tornadus wake up here, ladies and gentlemen? It doesn't!
Oh, that's just super unfortunate for Landon.
Oh, that is so unfortunate because in comes the Terra Fire Eruption in the sun, full health. Torkoal is just about to go off.
Honestly, I think if Landon has Incineroar in the back, a Fake Out could be phenomenal.
I think you're right because in comes this Instruct.
But it's not going to do anything because the eruption is going into a protected Landorus.
However, this is an important thing to note. This Torkoal does have Protect. So there could be something here, but we do see Morgana come in. That is the Incineroar once again. The Inner Focus will activate and therefore prevent the Intimidate drop. But now Landon's making Eric think long and hard. Do I want to click that Eruption again, or do I want to ensure that I can get a Protect off?
Yep, and it really is a big decision in this case. It looks like he's going for the Protect.
Torkoal does Protect here. It remains to be seen what Landon goes for as he goes for the Fake Out into the Oranguru.
Wow, what a call!
That is a big play on Landon's side, getting rid of the Oranguru, and that allows Landorus to get a substitute off.
Beautiful play by Landon. Like, no more opportunity to reset Trick Room. It's just... Look at this. It's just...
Landon is playing this battle absolutely incredible. However, he does have to hold on with those Terra Fire Eruptions in the sun. He is going to take damage on something.
Yep, and it's going to be a lot. And here comes in the Ursaluna. So
now, what's important to note here, ladies and gentlemen, is that Ursaluna does have that Flame Orb, and it does have Facade. However, by clicking Headlong Rush or something like that, you are going to essentially guarantee that Incineroar goes down here.
Yep, absolutely.
But it remains to be seen what Landon can do in the back because he does have an Archaludon, potentially he does have a Fluttermane, he does have a Ogerpon that would resist the Headlong Rush, but it would not resist a Terra Fire full HP Eruption in the sun.
So if Landon sends out a Ogerpon, for example, that would be solid because this Incineroar actually might be vital to the future for this specific game in particular. Honestly, that's just my thoughts process, and looks like the other Landon's thinking the exact same thing.
As he's switching out Incineroar and
to that Ogerpon,
the Ogerpon coming in.
Said, yep.
Going for a Protector, which is smart on the Landorus to ensure that it stays behind that substitute and then is able to attack outside of Trick Room here as Ursaluna clicks after the Eruption comes out because Torkoal is slower than that Ursaluna. Here comes a Terrifier Eruption, full health in the sun. I don't think Ogerpon
Ogerpon
survives.
is not surviving on any case.
Not a chance.
Not at all.
Ogerpon goes down.
Ogerpon has no chance surviving that.
That poor, beautiful soul with the... But also the Headlong Rush would then go into the Landorus.
It wouldn't even affect it.
Wouldn't have affected it, but the Twisted Dimension returned to normal, so now Landon has the fastest Pokemon on the field, but that Ursaluna did just get burned by the Flame Orb, so now its Guts ability has been activated.
However, that Guts ability is getting neutralized thanks to the Intimidate drop that's coming out right now.
And also, Landon still has yet to Terrastalize. He has a Terra Steel potentially on the Landers, he has a Terra Ghost on that Incineroar. He Terra Ghosts. Not only is Ursaluna not able to hit it with Facade, which is its best move now that it has the Guts, it can't. Headlong Rush is neutral.
It's not super effective anymore, exactly. Landon's in a solid spot, and not comfortable, I would say. I wouldn't say comfortable, but he's in a solid spot for sure.
It just remains to be seen what Landon decides to go for, because again, that Landorus is behind the substitute, so you can't attack it right now without it taking no damage due to that substitute.
Yep, and
we see Ursaluna
being switched out. Also, you get that attack back.
And back comes the Amoonguss here. Now, it got a good amount of health back because of that Regenerator ability. As Torkoal opts for the Protect here, what did Landorus go for? What did Incineroar go for? Landorus went for the Earth Power. He called it into the Torkoal.
Wow!
What a play into the Amoonguss. Now, what did that Incineroar go for?
That might just be
when knockoff. It is enough. No. Oh my God! What a play!
Way.
Amoonguss goes down. So now it's Ursaluna and Torkoal is behind. It went Protect, but the sun is gone.
The sun's gone. There's no more opportunity for a Protect on his Torkoal.
I mean, there's still a chance for a double Protect here. There is still a chance for a double Protect here. That might be one of the best ways that Landon might be able to lose this match against Eric, but this is incredible. Landon has found a way around it.
He has indeed, and honestly, Eric just looks like he's just thinking really hard about this turn, because if he doesn't win this game, it doesn't go to a game 3, and Landon will take it in a 2-0 victory. Landon using his Terra, if it's on that Incineroar, it could block out all those facades.
It is. Incineroar is going into a little bit of a Gen 1 backdrop with the Ghost Terra, much like the Ghost from the Lavender Town and the Pokemon Tower.
Absolutely.
As you see Earth Power come out, it goes into the Torkoal. Sheer Force Life Orb boosted. Earth Power is a one-hit knockout.
KO.
Into the Torkoal, and Torkoal is down.
Now, what does this Incineroar go for? Because I believe this Incineroar would be faster than that Ursaluna. So
ends up going for Parting Shot. That is a big play, because by Ursaluna switching out, it lowered its...
it brought back its lowered attack, so it was like still at an advantageous position. The Facade went into the Terra Ghost.
What a play by Landon. That Terra Ghost being able to be immune to Ursaluna's moves, and now seeing that there's no way out, Eric concedes the battle. Landon Marshall moves to 3-1, playing amazingly around that Trick Room.
Wow, great job to both players. Eric, your team is very... I love Eric's team a lot. Like, there's Glacier, like, the stuff is great. I was very excited to see that.
I cannot stop saying great things about this team that Eric was running.
This team in general is fantastic.
This team would make a person like Luke Bauer, who goes by Jin Furai, or Tapo Wapo, this kind of a team would make them cry in happy tears, because they'd be like, oh my God, look at how beautiful this Trick Room team is. Look how beautiful it is.
Yeah, it's
Those
fantastic.
two guys would be saying that in a heartbeat with how amazing that team is. And even Topo right now, he's been using the Calyrex Ice Rider in Regulation G. So that's something to note here. Just the way that Eric has his team constructed. If you do not have an answer to that Torkoal and Trick Room, you're basically done.
All right, yeah, but I do want to give especially credit to, like, Landon Morzio, because he played around that Trick Room fantastic.
Absolutely, absolutely played it fantastic.
Like, it's just like he played around it. Game 1, perfect. 4-0. None of his Pokemon out, he took all of them out one by one.
Exactly.
And then in this game, it was 2-0. but he did play very good. He played around all of his opponent's trick rooms. He stalled it out as much as he can. He used it to his advantage sometimes. He was playing great.
Now again, and in stuff like that, like it'd be nice to have a taunt Pokemon against someone like an Amoonguss, even though Oranguru does have the mental herb, so it was definitely going to get the trick room up no matter what. Being able to have Tornadus not have to go down because it was stayed asleep, and I think he was probably going for something like a Rain Dance there, just to ensure that the moves didn't hurt as much.
Oh, yeah.
But that's just how the game goes. You lose your Pokemon that is able to sort of hard counter Torkoal's weather, and you're essentially playing on the back burner, not just with Trick Room, but the Weather Warp, and you piloted it beautifully. That is why Landon was able to win this set the way he did.
Yeah, and also I know at the beginning of the round I was saying, hey, I'm honestly a little surprised that there wasn't a Sandsear Storm on Landorus, but you saw him use that. He used that substitute for a reason. That substitute like worked out in the end to just give him like some assurance towards that victory.
Exactly, and then when he made that switch out on Ursaluna, Landon making that call and just double attacking that spot, knowing that there might be a chance of that Protect coming out on Torkoal to avoid the fake out, and he just played it flawlessly.
He played wonderful. It was honestly so great.
Honestly, congratulations to both our trainers here. Landon moves to 3-1, one step closer to that top 8 cut. We've got one more round of Swiss here at the Maitland April local, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to be back with it momentarily, so don't go anywhere.